never designed to do that. It was never designed as a place where people can connect and share ideas without toxicity. So that's the challenge that we've taken upon ourselves. And right now, what we're all used to is basically personalized feeds. So when you log into social media, the content that you see is going to be based on your likes, on your follows, and on your interests. And the more that you use the platform, the more that that platform is going to know about you. So that algorithm is going to be even more specific. So, for example, for me, I'm from Spain. So when I log into social media, I'm going to follow the Spanish brands, the institutions, and the personalities that I already know of, the Spanish ones. The same thing is going to happen to someone from Nigeria, someone from Jordan, Indonesia, Colombia, the US, Mexico. And then everyone is basically in their own filter bubbles, right? Of these likes and interest and your friends' likes and your friends' interest. And there really isn't a place for global conversation. I think that we've all noticed the effects, the tangible effects that this can have on our society, how detrimental it is for democracy, just for civil discourse, and just for exchanging ideas and having a safe place to express yourself. It seems like there really isn't one anymore. And so what do we do? What do we propose? What is our solution? Basically, we're attacking the root of the problem. So our solution starts at the root, at how the platform is set up, how Loop Media is set up. So basically, when you log in, you're going to see a world map, an interactive world map, because we segment content with region. We don't use algorithms. So for example, in this interactive world map, if you scroll to Africa, if you move to Africa, you're going to see content from Africa. If you move to Latin America, you're going to see content from Latin America. This content is right now text. Ira is going to talk now a little bit more about our future vision, and we want to incorporate more audio visuals. But right now it's text, it's articles. And everyone is seeing the same world map. So everyone's seeing the same article, someone from Nigeria or Indonesia or the US. And at the same time, everything is translatable. We have translation technology incorporated in both the articles and the comments. And this way, everyone's looking at the same content. Everyone can connect no matter where they're from, their culture, their region, their filter bubble, and they can also understand each other. So basically, we want to create this space and we want to unify the voice of the people around the world. But who are those people? Who are we targeting at the beginning? It's basically you guys, it's the youth, right? We're the ones that are going to inherit all these problems, whether it's climate change, technology, politics, anything to do with social movements. We're the ones that have to basically take care of it. And so it's people that are interested in current events, people that are interested in journalism, in political science, in international relations, in technology, people that want to create, that want to share, that want to write articles without really having to worry about setting up your own blog, marketing, SEO, the tech curve, and where they can really create a portfolio of their work. They can have beautiful debates with anybody from across the world, the design, the niche that we're going with, and basically how we're coming up. We're hoping that it's going to create a great civil discourse. And we want to unify people from all over the world, especially the youth that has initiative. And the previous speakers were talking about how beautiful it is when people that are interested in entrepreneurship and solving problems, which is basically entrepreneurship, solving problems, come together. It's people that are so hungry, that have so much drive. And when we connect, when Naomi was talking about the power of humans, the power of social media, when we connect, beautiful things can happen, incredible different types of collaborations. And that's what we want to do, but we want to create a platform that's really designed for this. And so that's basically where we're at right now. And I'm gonna give the word back to Ira to talk a little bit about where we see ourselves in the future.
Yeah, so right now, like Santiago said, we are focusing on implementing our vision of a place where people can collaborate and have real conversations about things that really matter to them and come up with real solutions to those problems. We're doing that right now by essentially letting the user control their own algorithm in a way. You want to see things in a certain order, that's up to you. You want to see things from a certain part of the world, that's up to you. In the future, we would like to also incorporate tools that inform rather than control the user. So for example, a sentiment analysis tool in the comments that tells you if you're being a jerk before you hit submit, rather than your friend telling you after you've hit submit. We think that conversations will go a lot more smoothly if people are reminded to just take a moment to pause and consider how someone else might perceive their words before sending the button, again, not after. Another thing that we're interested in implementing is making it so that users, again, we want our users to be more informed and better off as a result of engaging on our platform and with each other, not worse off, right? So part of the problem with media today is that there's no big picture. Nobody gets to see the big picture almost ever. And so we would like to implement a timeline view where you can see the whole story, not just one piece of a story at a time. So you can see, for example, whether or not maybe a year ago someone completely flipped on their position, or whether a company, for example, has come around and has started changing their behavior for the better in a way that's actually long-term trending, or if the opposite. The point is that you get more access to the truth so that you have better ability to make informed decisions. In addition to this, we're planning on implementing video and audio content, and really far in the future, my dream is to, we want to break down the barriers between people in conversation, especially ones that create barriers between fruitful conversation and thoughtful, honest disagreement, as opposed to just a total mess of name calling. And so one of the things that we would like to do in the future is groundbreaking work. We want to implement using essentially deep fake audio technology to, in real time, translate the voice of other people so that you can hear their voice and their tone in your language, and they can say it in theirs. Mm-hmm. So the translation still comes through, but the tone, the emotion, the way that the person sounds, that also comes through. So we want to bring people together. Our background is, Santiago studied how to become a benefit corporation and how to create circular economies. And so the ideas that come out of this space, we want to help fund them. We want to help turn them into reality. That's the way that we choose to pay it forward, is we are creating a place where people can have ideas and come up with solutions. And when they do come up with those ideas, we would like to help make those possible for whomever wants to do that, whoever got involved. So with that said, if we're planning on launching towards the end of September. If you are interested in being involved in global conversations like ours about things that really matter to you, if you want to get into the loop, we invite you to join us on Instagram at Loop Media Official. If anyone has any questions, I'm more than happy. Santiago's more than happy to listen and to talk.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a screen sharing now so you guys can see the Instagram handle. I just wanted to add, well, basically Ira has gone through everything. I think we've covered all the bases, but how important it is to really create a space that's designed and thought of from the beginning to have good conversations, because that's not something that we have today. And we're doing it with a completely global ambition. Our idea is right now in the interactive world map, we have the continents, so we have Africa, Latin America, etc. But our plan is to scale downwards, so to go from continents to regions and countries, basically filling up the digital globe with the physical Earth itself, and people will just be able to explore what's going on around the world. I think it's completely important. I think we're at a pivotal moment right now in society when it comes to discourse, when it comes to politics, when it comes to technology. And I think that this is something that's completely needed, right? To liberate ourselves from these algorithm prisons. I don't know if any of you have ever noticed them on Instagram, on Facebook, or on Twitter, or especially on YouTube now, that they just kind of switched up their algorithm and it's become even more and more specific to you. And yeah, it's something that we're completely passionate about. If anybody wants to help out, I mean, you can read, you can debate, you can publish content. We're doing it with different blogging accounts, with Instagram accounts, and we just love collaborating. As Naomi had said before, people that are just starting things, it's amazing to collaborate. So I'm going to share the screen here. This is basically our Instagram handle. I don't know if people can see that. This is our big visual for the presentation. And yeah, other than that, we would really love to see if anybody has any questions on the chat. And yeah, to have a conversation with you guys. A big part of what we do is basically transparency and just doing it for the people. So here is the first question. I'm reading it. What is your favorite thing about working as an entrepreneur and working to build Loop Media? Ira, do you want to go first, or do you want me?
Sure, yeah, I can go first. For me, my favorite part is that I feel that my work is meaningful. For a really long time, I felt like my work was not meaningful and that I felt like I wasn't working on problems I actually cared about. I learned how to code so that I could work on more important problems. And then I got into the industry and I ended up just making essentially giant ads for people. That's not why I learned how to code. I mean, I learned how to code because when I was younger, I had nothing. And I, not to get too personal, y'all, but I was homeless when I graduated from high school. And the only reason I was able to graduate was because of apps. Actually, it was the ability to use Google Drive and online conversation to talk to other people, to get my homework done and to be able to save it, even though I didn't have a physical place to save it. So working on software is very intimate to me. Being able to work on a project like this is something that I've been interested in my entire adult life. I used to study social work, and when I got into school, I told the school counselor, I want to make apps that bring people together and help solve problems. And she said, we don't have a degree for that. And so I was like, oh man. And yet here we are, and it doesn't matter that there's no degree for it. So that's what I'm most excited about.
Awesome. Yeah. For me, it has to be along those lines as well. Doing something every day that you wake up, you're motivated, there's a purpose behind it. It can get tough, definitely, but it has to be that, like the purpose behind what you do, the fact that it doesn't have a ceiling, like the possibilities are endless, and then also the people that you come across. So, for example, Ira and Sophia are like my favorite people that I've come across like through the internet. So just everything Sophia's done with Gen Z, We Are the Future, just being here, connecting with these type of people, with you guys, as well as connecting with Ira, doing this because Ira is really the magician that is behind all the coding and making all the magic happen. And yeah, those are the magic hands. And so just that's basically, I think it's amazing. Also, the fact that you can see something kind of like germinate, go from zero to start growing. I think it's amazing. And yeah, I don't know if there's any more questions. If not, me and Ira can talk for hours about anything.
Yeah, we're too excited about this. That's part of our problem.
Let me see. I can't see the. I'm gonna stop sharing this now for a second.
Cool beans, yeah, totally.
um, yeah. So I don't know if there's any more questions that you guys would like to kind of go over, or anything that wasn't really clear about what we're doing. Mm-hmm.
From idea to concept to app. So Santiago had actually started working on this for at least a year before I got involved, right?
Yeah. So basically, the idea. Yeah, that's a really great question. Um, Basically, the idea started out when I studied business and international relations in university, so nothing that has to do with coding or startups, and it was a pretty traditional university here in Madrid, Spain. But I did do my final thesis on platform capitalism, which is basically how what's going on like behind the scenes of platforms, whether it's Airbnb or Uber, but especially the social ones that I really, or the ones that I enjoy, are the ones that are using data, the ones that are using dopamine to basically grab onto users' attention, the ones that don't care if you go down a rabbit hole of conspiracies, of fake news or misinformation, because they just want you to go down a rabbit hole. And that's basically what really made me passionate. And there's definitely been pivots, iterations, testing. It's been a learning. It's been the biggest learning curve of my life for sure. But to answer your question, basically from idea to like a good concept that you can start programming, it maybe took like 3 months of seeing the if it was like viable, like the app, if the costs were gonna be less than the revenue, and then trying to find a co-founder, which until I found Ira, I was having a tough time. Ira has definitely been a lifesaver in that aspect. It took around 4 months to get the concept, and then to get the first big batch of code written down and launch the first prototype, another 4 months, and then it's just a constant iteration, and then launching again, and then trying again, and then feedback and talking to users. And that's basically what we've been doing for like the past year and a half. It's been a while. And yeah, but it's been definitely a learning process for sure. And with Ira now, very excited, having learned a lot more about product managing, about what's possible, what isn't, about what people like, what they don't. We launched the first time, and we saw what worked, we saw what didn't work, and that's what really made us have a big pivot. And now preparing for the second launch, and it's looking great so far. The adoption of like the people that we've been speaking to, the different universities, schools, blogs, podcasts, and yeah, it's been a constant thing. And yeah, I don't know, Ira, do you have
Yeah.
any to
Oh
that?
yeah. I mean, for this iteration of the app, we've been working on it for about a year now. Um, so the last version of the app focused a little bit different, had different marketing and focused a little bit on a different audience, but although it was very similar to what it is today, to be honest. But yeah, we've been rebuilding the web app from scratch to have a better, more seamless experience. And it looks really nice and it's really smooth. And I'm really excited to let all y'all join it in September.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I was gonna say my answer
Oh,
was
yeah,
uh,
yeah. I mean, there's lots of them, lots.
if anybody wants to know about the launch, yeah, follow us on Instagram. That's basically where we're because we're gonna be launching to different universities at school, but the rest Instagram. And when it comes to difficulties, I mean, where to start, right? At the beginning, I think
Yeah,
I personally made because I started out as a solo founder, so that's the first mistake. And then I think I made the rest of them, all of them, and then maybe a couple of extra mistakes as well. And that was a great learning process. Like it makes you tough, and in that sense. And then the difficulties that basically is what we were talking about today. I like just communication, just being on the same page, everyone being on the same page and communication. And those are the toughest ones. Like organizing a team, especially if we're in different time zones. I'm in Spain, Ira's in Chicago, and just being organizing the team. The other issues that come up, maybe it's something legal, maybe it's something about privacy policy, maybe it's something about marketing, maybe it's something about like product, and those are you can solve those with research and work and reaching out and networking, which is something that people were talking about before, which is extremely important. But the big ones are everyone's on the same page and the execution. I think that's I don't know if there's a specific difficulty that you can think about right now, Ira.
there's a lot. I mean, and part of them just have to do with being human, right?
Yeah,
Like just because you're working on a startup doesn't mean that all the other regular human problems decide to be like, we won't get in the way, you know. We'll let you focus on that thing because you really care about it, right?
yeah,
No, I mean, for me, the majority of the hardships were really personal, frankly. In the very beginning, I got laid off. My dad passed away shortly after, and so the question was, what did you do with it? I am a firm believer in making lemonade from lemons. I believe that in order to do so, that you cannot simply sit there and wish that lemons aren't sour. That you have to start experimenting and seeing what does sour go well with, you know. And so for me, what that meant was I got a lot of free time, so I can really focus on this, and I can put all my attention into this, and I can get really excited about this. Uh, so that was one challenge. Another challenge is with regard to the technology. This is my first time doing something this intense and this big. And so I've made technological decisions that I've never had to make before, including, what technology should we even use for this product? Uh, so that's been a challenge because I actually made the wrong choice the first time, and it resulted in us having to essentially rebuild it when we were originally planning on doing an alpha launch. That's my fault. So sometimes you're late, and that's why, because you were wrong, and you just have to be okay with the reality that you're going to be wrong sometimes, because in those moments when you find out that you're wrong, they're usually painful and embarrassing. But it's in that moment that you have access to this piece of almost, someone I look up to refers to it as like a gem, a reward, the knowledge, a lesson to be learned from that pain. And if you can sit with the pain and get the lesson out of it, then you can grow and move on. And so this has been a really good experience for me with regard to that. It's forced me, I cannot be overly perfectionistic. We have to get something done.
yeah.
So that's I don't know if that answers your question, but that's kind of my perspective on it.
Nice. Yeah, on the single most helpful tip or idea that helped you succeed in the development process. For me, it would be to get yourself an IRA. So get yourself get yourself a co-founder that's an amazing co-founder, someone you can rely on, someone that's there not because of a short-term objective or a short-term mentality, more of a long-term, more of a vision, a passion, something that speaks to their heart and soul. And yeah, it's basically like family. So I would definitely say get yourself an IRA, someone that complements your skills. I don't program. IRA programs really well. So that's that. And the team. I think that having a solid team is where it all starts and ends. Basically, later on, there's a lot of luck involved in execution, and then marketing, and then all that stuff. I think the team that's going to do all that is the most important part.
Yeah, we're really blessed to have a really awesome team of interns from all over the planet, multiple continents, Spain, Mozambique, all over the United States. I don't think almost any single person lives in the same area as somebody else on the team. So we're really blessed in that there are a lot of people from all over the world who have dedicated a portion of their lives to help implement and create this as a reality. And I'm very, very grateful for that. A tip as far as getting something done on a practical level, don't uh, don't allow yourself to try to build everything all at once. You know what I mean? Focus on the least possible that you can have done and still consider it a product. It doesn't matter whether or not you're proud of it. That's not a measurement that is objective to another human being. If you don't feel embarrassed a little bit by what you're putting out there, you're putting it out there too late.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely that's definitely important. Also, talk to the people you want to you're directing your business, your movement towards. Talk to people. Ask the. There's a great book called The Mom Test, and it basically is how to talk to people and find out the information you want to find out to build the right stuff. And that's because you want to build stuff that people want and that people like and that's going to solve a problem, a frustration, a pain point. So also, yeah, talk to your users, talk to your followers, talk to your people, and listen and follow what they say. Yeah, and yeah, I think that's it for our time. I don't want to go over time, but yeah,
Yeah, y'all have been great. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
yeah,
no, thank you so much. That was really insightful. And I think everyone here learned a bunch about what Loop Media is and kind of how they can get more involved. So thank you. And that is actually the last event of the conference. So everyone who's still here, thank you so much for sticking around. I know it's been a long day, but it was great hearing from so many amazing people.
thank you guys. It was awesome.
Yeah, thanks again.
No, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was wonderful. And thank you so much to the audience for coming to the Youth in the Spotlight conference, which was hosted by us. And it has been wonderful hearing from all of our amazing speakers. We hope you have learned a lot about everything from political engagement to design and even breaking out of an echo chamber.
Yeah, so all of our sessions have been recorded and they will be uploaded to our YouTube channel. So anyone can go back and watch them later since I know time zones can be difficult. And I know I at least personally learned so much from all our speakers and it was great hearing from everyone and just seeing kind of their perspectives and experiences. So with that, thank you all for coming to the 2021 Youth in the Spotlight Conference brought to you by Gen Z or the Future. And in the chat right now, we'll put all our contact information. So if you want to stay connected, we can definitely like follow us on Instagram or send us an email. We're happy to continue working with literally everyone here. So yeah, I think that's all we have. But thank you all so much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much.
You guys.
Bye, everyone.
Wonderful day.